Hi there and welcome to the SkanFest podcast. I'm your host, Joe Lee. We are a summer concert series taking place in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. This is the Skaneateles Festival, and we're celebrating our 47th season this year. We like to spend time on our podcast talking to our visiting artists who travel the world making music of the highest caliber. The Robinson Award is an annual prize established by the Skaneateles Festival in 2002 with the intent of honoring a high school student, an accomplished performer whose character, musicianship, and community service reflects those treasured values of festival founders David and Louise Robinson: enthusiasm and dedication to the music of the highest quality. This year, the panel selected pianist Hudson Brenner as a recipient, and he is here to talk to us today. Welcome, Hudson.
Thanks.
So how do you feel about winning the this particular award?
I'm really excited. It's a great scholarship, first of all, but I also get to perform as part of it, which is really the best part about piano. I mean, it's great to sit in a practice room for a while, but after a bit, you have to share your music with somebody. So
Absolutely. So you are a student in the FM school district, FM High School. And when did you start playing piano, or when did you start taking music lessons?
Well, I started playing piano at age 5. I initially, when I was like 3, I told my parents I wanted to play violin, and supposedly the lessons were past my bedtime, and so they said, you have to try something else. I guess I was listening to Mozart CDs, and I just liked the sound of the violin. Funny enough, I actually play viola now, but piano has become my primary instrument, and I started, at 5. I've been through 4 teachers, and my current teacher is Ida Tili-Trebicka, who teaches at Syracuse University.
Okay, so you started with private lessons, or was this a part of the school?
With private lessons, yeah.
Okay.
My first teacher was Luba Lesser, and I stayed with her for a few years, and then I've been switching just as it's felt right.
And you were head-on dedicated. You were your friends weren't calling, the outside wasn't calling, other competing events weren't calling you and pulling you to that. You, as a young student, were able to commit?
It's a long story. I mean, I definitely I might have been more dedicated than the average 5-year-old, but I don't think I was, long playing an hour for every age of every year I was old or whatever. My parents wanted to just let me play as much as I felt like, and I think it really took until about 8th grade that before I started to think of music seriously, and I think I'd already started thinking of it seriously without realizing it, but it came around 7th grade or so. I'd seen that I didn't want to do Science Olympiad because I needed time to practice, or I didn't want to play basketball because I needed time to practice, and eventually my mom just said to me well, why are you spending so much time? She always thought that I was going to be a math major, and because from when I was young, I would write numbers all over the place, and math and music are very much intertwined, and so that actually it makes sense that I'm doing physics or maybe even math at some point. I'm not really sure in college, and then along with music. So I think from 8th grade I started to feel like, all right, I really have to take this seriously. I started doing some summer programs. I went to Ithaca, but then I went to Philadelphia, and then I applied for music schools, and I was looking at dual degree programs, but I came to the unfortunate point where I had to choose between just music and just something else, and so I chose just something else, but then tried to add on music as much as I could.
But why did you say, I have to take this more seriously? What was it about playing and music that you sort of looked at your future and said, this has to be a part of my future, of who I am going forward? What was it? What was going through your mind at that time?
It was sort of a matter of, I mean, this was during the era of Zoom meetings and stuff, and so my parents would be on their work Zoom meetings, and I couldn't wait for their meetings to finish to start playing piano, and I started to get some recognition for it. I did in a few competitions, and also the people on my parents' Zoom meetings would be like, what's that sound in the background? And I always had this urge to play. We'd go away, and I'd be the first thing I'd do when I get back to our house would be to play piano. And
wow.
I knew that was something that I was always going to have in my life, no matter what major or whatever I had in college. So
that's like a superpower. Yeah. I mean, I've taken several. I've said this on this podcast before. I've taken violin lessons, guitar lessons, piano lessons. None of it could stick with me, right? And so I'm always impressed with young folks that actually put in the practice, the work, the determination to make it all happen. So what inspires you to play?
Well, I think it's just knowing that my emotions are going to be processed more clearly once I start playing. And it doesn't always come easy. Like there are times when I just feel really tired and like, why would I even play piano? But then I force myself to, and within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'm already feeling better. Mm-hmm. And to know that like there's something in there that just taps into my soul exactly where I want it, it is just why I feel like I need to play.
If we had a piano in a room and I'd ask you to sit down and play something, what would be the first thing that you played? What is your favorite piece of music or favorite composer or artist?
Well, I think I try to keep it varied. So if there were a piano in the room, it would depend on the day as to what I play. But I do definitely have favorite composers. So I've said consistently that my favorite composer is Rachmaninoff, and I guess it's just, again, with the emotional amount of it, there's just something in there that it has this intensity that you can't capture elsewhere. And actually, I'm going to be playing an etude by Rachmaninoff at my Robinson Award performance, Opus 38, number 8 in C-sharp minor. Mm-hmm. It's a very intense wave of strong negative emotion because I think he was just in a very dark place when he wrote it. But
and is that what you gravitate toward, more emotional compositions?
Well, it depends. I think, yeah, like back in when I was starting to realize that piano was definitely the thing for me, that was the majority of what I was playing. But there was an added side effect of that, that when you play these huge pieces that take up the whole keyboard and really require your hands to stretch all over the place, I would eventually like get some inflammation in my arms, and where like I almost had like carpal tunnel and stuff, and it's not necessarily that like I was too invested in it, but there is sort of a cost when you do too much. And so I've started looking at like classical music and Baroque music more often recently, and I found that there are ways to still have that intensity of emotion without just like forcing it out of yourself. And finding that balance has been really an important part of my musical growth the last like 2 years with my new teacher, and I'm excited for what that can bring. So.
And you're how old?
I'm 18 now.
18. So if I asked you to pull out your phone and open up your music streaming app, what are the top 5 songs that you're listening to? What are you listening to outside of classical music?
Well, I take German, or I took German in school, and so I went to Germany over the summer last year, and I got exposed to some German pop music, and so every once in a while I'll pull up some like German like disco song or whatever, and that will really keep me going. But the majority of the time it's really musical theater, because I did the musical the last 4 years at my high school, and actually a few years before that in middle school. But I did Pitt for 2 years, and I was on stage for 2 years, and both sides of it, the background music, but also the singing of it, just has this excitement to it, and it doesn't make sense if you just listen to it out of context. But if you know the musical and you can recall back to a singular song, it just takes you back to right where in the story you were. And my sister and I also sing musical theater at least like once a week late at night, and it's just a nice like experience to do that all the time. So listening to that again makes me think of stuff like that.
Nice. Do you consider yourself, or are you more comfortable, I should ask, as a solo performer, or do you play? Are you equally comfortable playing as a part of an ensemble or a band or a large orchestra?
Well, so yeah, again, I play viola as well, and I also sing in choir. So I'm in many ensemble groups. I've been in multiple choirs and multiple orchestras in high school and outside of the school as well. So I'm definitely at least equally comfortable in solo versus chamber, and I have played piano in the band as well. Like the wind ensemble went to All-State the previous year, and I played with them, and so I like the collaborative element of it. One of the things that I like about the piano so much, besides just that it resonates with my soul, is that it captures all of the instruments. It may not capture the exact like timbre, but if you can think of each piece as like this part here is the oboe, this part here is like supposed to be the timpani, even if it can't really like like then you see it more as the piano is an orchestra but played by one person. And in order to fully understand that, you have to be part of the orchestra, you have to be part of the group. And so I see those as enriching my piano, but also an equally important part of my life.
Okay, this singing thing is new information to me. So wait, so you sing? What are you singing solo, or are you like a part of a choir?
Both.
Okay, and what are you singing solo when you sing solo?
I mean, again, it's some musical theater, but it's also classical music. I took voice lessons like over the summer a few times, and because I sing in choir, I have to have like certain concerts where, I mean, there was like a senior cabaret where I had to sing Cherry Tree Lane from Mary Poppins, and it's always a fun ordeal. It helps with the performing side of things more, where it's not just what you're
How
playing.
so? How does it help with to be able to sing or sing those parts? How does it help with the music side of things?
Well, when you connect the music to words, it allows you to be a little more creative with what you're doing with your body, as well as your voice, or as well as your fingers, and it transfers. Maybe not to the extreme where you're like dancing across the stage as you're supposedly like playing piano, but at least in the way you feel the music, and in the way you realize that you're presenting to the audience, and that the audience is there to watch you, and you can just do whatever you want.
A part of qualifying to be a recipient of this award is the amount of community service that you do. Talk a little bit about what you do to give back to community.
Well, the school has many honor societies to help you get involved in the community. So I've taken every opportunity there, and as a result, it's connected me with a lot of enriching opportunities, I would say. I mean, the Tri-M Honor Society is the Music Honor Society. They connect you with things like ushering, but just being part of that has also inspired me to do like playing at senior citizen homes, and like as part of singing as well. The swing choir group goes around and sings for Christmas time, and so that stuff in particular is the most beneficial to me, but like where it feels good. But there's also like Science Honor Society, National German Honor Society, where you do things related to German and science, and even the generic National Honor Society, you just do whatever you want. And so just feeling there's like a reason to do community service gets you to doing it, and once you've started, you can't stop.
In your application for this, you talked about sort of pairing that musical interest with science. Talk a little bit about how those two things come together for you.
Well, when I applied for the dual degree programs, I kind of put in my application that eventually I want to look someday at the physics of music, and I still hold true to that, but I'm not sure exactly when I'll realize that. So that's like the most direct connection, but there's also the thing with where like problem solving is also something that you need in music, and music is very mathematical, and math is very musical, and even like with language, like speaking German, sometimes reading music almost feels like you're reading a language, because it's like there's a set of symbols that you've just naturally been known to recognize, and so learning all of that and learning to recognize these patterns. I mean, if someone's learned 3 languages, they can much more easily learn like 3 more. It feels sort of like that.
Mm-hmm. So as a award recipient, you've been given a massive amount of money. What are you going to do with that money?
I'm going to use it for college. I mean, it's a scholarship, so I have to, and I'm very grateful for it, because I mean, college is extremely expensive, and the more you have to take out on loans, the more you're paying back in the future. So,
and you're going where?
I'm going to Johns Hopkins.
And you're going to study?
I'm going to study physics and minor in music, and I really hope to make that music a major, and we'll see how that turns out.
Nice. What is it that you want to ultimately do?
Well, I don't really know yet.
And that's normal.
Just because there's the two sides of my mind that, as much as they're intertwined career-wise, don't necessarily always work well together. And so I have to see how it turns out, see where I make connections with both. And if I choose physics, then that would be a great career. And if I choose music, that would also be a great career. I'm perfectly happy either way.
Hudson, you've been a pleasure to chat with. I wish you all the best with your college career and the rest of your life. And we're pleased to have you representing the Robinson Award. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here as well.
Hudson Brenner is the Skaneateles Festival's 2026 Robinson Award recipient. He will receive his award and perform a short prelude on August 13th at 6:30 p.m. at the First Presbyterian Church in Skaneateles, before the evening's headline event, American Revolutions, featuring soprano Elizabeth Sutphin, flutist Aaron Lesser, and violinist David McCarroll. You can learn more about SkanFest events and buy tickets at skanfest.org. Thanks and congratulations, Hudson, and thank you all for listening and watching.